In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where the leaves always seemed to fall in perfect spirals and the air carried the faint scent of cinnamon year-round, Grandma G was a local legend. At 78, Gertrude Grandma G. Grayson was known for her cozy sweaters, her prize-winning apple pies, and a smile that could melt even the grumpiest neighbor's heart. But what most folks didn't know was that her weekly knitting club, held in the back room of her quaint Victorian home, was no ordinary gathering. It was a secret society, a mystical circle where needles clicked not just to create scarves and mittens, but to summon spirits from beyond. The knitting club met every Thursday evening when the moon hung low and the crickets sang a little louder. Grandma G's parlor, with its floral wallpaper and creaky oak floors, transformed into a portal of sorts. Each member, 5 women, all over 60, with hands as nimble as their tongues were sharp, knew the truth. Every stitch pattern Grandma G taught them was a spell, a way to call forth ghosts from beyond. The group had been at it for years, ever since Grandma G discovered an old knitting manual in her attic, its pages yellowed and inscribed with cryptic symbols. The manual, passed down through generations of Graysons, revealed that certain patterns, like the cable stitch for lost sailors or the seed stitch for forgotten poets, could summon specific spirits. The club used their craft to help restless souls find peace, or sometimes just to chat with history's forgotten voices. But tonight, however, trouble was brewing. The air in Willow Creek felt heavy, like a storm was coming, though the sky was clear. Grandma G's granddaughter, Lily, a 16-year-old with a skeptical streak and a penchant for earbuds over conversation, was sprawled on the parlor couch scrolling her phone. She'd been roped into staying over while her parents were out of town, and she wasn't thrilled about it. "Why do you even have this knitting club, Gran? It's just a bunch of old ladies making scarves. Kind of boring, don't you think?" Grandma G, her silver hair pulled into a neat bun, chuckled as she arranged skeins of yarn on the coffee table. "Oh, Lily, you'd be surprised what these old ladies can do with a pair of needles. Stick around tonight. You might see something worth putting down that phone for."
Lily rolled her eyes but didn't argue. She'd heard whispers about her grandmother's weird hobbies from her friends, who swore Grandma G's house was haunted. Lily didn't buy it. Ghosts were for kids' stories, not real life. Still, she was curious enough to linger as the club members arrived. First came Evelyn, a retired librarian with a sharp wit and a love for lavender yarn. Then Martha, a former schoolteacher who always brought homemade fudge. Clara, the town's best gardener, shuffled in with a basket of herbs for protection. Agnes, a no-nonsense seamstress, arrived last, her knitting bag clinking with extra needles. The women greeted Lily warmly, but their eyes darted to Grandma G, sensing the same unease in the air. "Something's off tonight, Gertie," Agnes said, settling into an armchair. "My needles were humming all day. Felt like they were trying to tell me something." Grandma G nodded, her face serious. "I felt it too. The manual's been warm to the touch since yesterday, like it's impatient. We'll have to be careful with tonight's pattern." Lily snorted from the couch. "Humming needles? A warmed book? Come on, Gran. You guys are just messing with me." The women exchanged knowing glances, and Grandma G patted Lily's knee. "Just watch, sweetheart, and keep an open mind." They began with a simple pattern, a garter stitch meant to call a gentle spirit, a child from the 1800s who'd been known to sing lullabies. The needles clicked in rhythm, the room filling with a soft hum, like a distant melody. Lily squinted, noticing a faint glow around the yarn, but she chalked it up to the flickering lamplight. Then, without warning, the room grew cold. The needles stopped mid-stitch, and the yarn on Clara's lap began to unravel on its own, slithering across the floor like a snake.
"Gertie!" Clara gasped, clutching her needles. "That's not supposed to happen." The air shimmered, and a figure appeared in the center of the room, not the sweet child they'd expected, but a tall, gaunt man in tattered 18th century clothes, his eyes glowing an unnatural green. His presence filled the room with a sour, metallic smell, and the yarn on the floor writhed toward him, tangling around his boots. "Who dares summon me?" the ghost hissed, his voice like wind through broken glass. "I am Silas Vane, and I will not be bound by your petty threads." Lily yelped, dropping her phone. The club members froze, their needles poised. Grandma G stood, her voice calm but firm. "Silas Vane, you were not called. State your purpose or be gone." The ghost laughed, a sound that made the windows rattle. "Ha ha ha! Purpose? I have none but chaos. Your little spells have poked the veil too long, old woman. Now I'll unravel your work, and your town, stitch by stitch." With a wave of his hand, the yarn in the room went wild, looping around furniture, snagging on curtains, and even wrapping around Lily's ankles. She screamed, kicking at the threads, but they tightened like vines. The club members sprang into action, chanting an old binding rhyme from the manual, but Silas's laughter drowned them out. He vanished in a puff of green smoke, leaving the room in disarray and the yarn still wriggling. "What the heck was that?" Lily shouted, yanking the yarn off her legs. "Gran, you said this was just knitting." Grandma G's face was grim. "It's more than knitting, Lily. That was Silas Vane, a weaver from the 1700s. He was executed for cursing the town's looms, making them produce nothing but frayed cloth. His spirit's been trapped in the veil, and somehow he's slipped through." "Through. If he's free, he'll unravel everything. Our work, our protections, even Willow Creek itself." The club members nodded, their faces pale but determined. Evelyn clutched the manual, flipping to a page marked with a black X. "There's a pattern here, Gertie, the binding quilt. It's complex, but it can trap a spirit like Silas for good." "How complex?" Martha asked, her fudge forgotten. "Every stitch has to be perfect," Evelyn said. "One mistake and the quilt won't hold. And we'll need rare materials, yarn spun from moonlit wool, dyed with elderberry and sage. It'll take all of us, and we'll have to work fast. The town festival's tomorrow night, and if Silas gets to the town square, he'll turn it into chaos." Lily, still shaken, stood up. "Are you serious? Ghosts? Magic yarn? This is insane." Grandma G took her hand. "I know it's a lot, Lily, but you're a Greason. You've got the gift, even if you don't believe it yet. We need your help to stop Silas." Lily hesitated, her skepticism warring with the undeniable weirdness she'd just witnessed. Finally, she sighed. "Fine, but if I'm knitting, I'm not calling it magic, and I want answers after this." The club worked through the night, gathering supplies. Clara harvested sage from her garden under the moonlight, while Agnes and Martha trekked to an old farm outside town to collect wool from sheep grazing in a field said to be blessed by ancient druids. Evelyn studied the manual, deciphering the quilt's pattern, a dizzying mix of brioche, lace, and intarsia stitches, each representing a layer of the spirit world. Grandma G and Lily stayed behind, sorting yarn and preparing the parlor for the ritual. "Through. If he's free, he'll unravel everything. Our work, our protections, even Willow Creek itself." As they worked, Grandma G told Lily the history of the knitting club. It began centuries ago when their ancestor, Eliza Grayson, a weaver, discovered the manual in a shipwreck. She learned to use knitting as a bridge to the spirit world, helping lost souls while protecting Willow Creek. The gift passed through the women of the family, and Grandma G hoped to teach Lily when she was ready. "I didn't want to scare you off," she said, "but Silas has forced our hand." Lily, winding a skein of silvery wool, frowned. "Why me? I don't even like knitting." "You've got the spark," Grandma G said. "I saw it when you were little, the way you'd hum while tying knots and string. It's in your blood. And tonight, we'll need every bit of it."
By dawn, the club reconvened, their arms full of supplies. The moonlit wool glowed faintly, and the elderberry dye smelled of earth and magic. They laid out the pattern on the parlor floor, a sprawling design that looked like a starry sky crossed with a labyrinth. Each member took a section, their needles flashing as they began the binding quilt. Lily, reluctantly, joined in, her fingers clumsy at first but guided by Grandma G's patient instructions. The work was grueling. The pattern demanded precision, and every few rows Silas's presence returned, weaker but still menacing. Yarn would tangle inexplicably or a needle would snap. Once, Lily swore she saw green eyes watching from the mirror. The club chanted protective rhymes and Clara burned sage to keep Silas at bay, but his laughter echoed in the walls, promising ruin. As the day wore on, the town buzzed with preparations for the festival, a harvest celebration with music, food, and a giant bonfire in the square. The club knew Silas would strike there, where the town's energy was strongest. They had to finish the quilt by nightfall. Lily's skepticism began to fade as she knitted. The yarn seemed to hum under her fingers, and when she closed her eyes, she saw fleeting images. Ships on stormy seas, women spinning by candlelight. "Gran, is this normal?" she whispered. Grandma G smiled. "It's your gift waking up, Lily. Keep stitching. You're doing fine." By dusk, the quilt was nearly complete, a shimmering tapestry of silver, purple, and green. But Silas wasn't done. As the club worked the final rows, the parlor shook and he appeared again, his form more solid, his eyes blazing. "You think your threads can hold me? I'll unravel this town and your precious club." He lunged for the quilt, but Lily, acting on instinct, threw a ball of sage-dyed yarn at him. It burst into sparks, forcing him back. The club seized the moment, chanting the final binding rhyme as they stitched the last stitches. The quilt glowed, its pattern swirling like a vortex. Silas screamed as the threads wrapped around him, pulling him into the fabric. With a final flash, he was gone, trapped in the quilt's intricate weave. The room fell silent. The quilt lay still, its glow fading. Lily stared, breathless. Did we do it?" Grandma G hugged her. "You did it, Lily. You're a Grayson through and through." The club carried the quilt to the festival, hiding it in a decorative tent. As the bonfire roared and the town danced, they stood guard, ensuring Silas stayed bound. Lily, still clutching her needles, felt a new pride. She wasn't sure she believed in magic yet, but she believed in her grandmother, and maybe, just maybe, in herself. The festival ended without a hitch, and the club returned to Grandma G's parlor, the quilt safely stored in a cedar chest. Lily stayed, asking questions late into the night. Grandma G promised to teach her more, starting with a simple scarf pattern, one that might just summon a friendly ghost or two. As the moon rose over Willow Creek, the knitting club's needles clicked once more, ready for the next spirit, the next story, and the next adventure.